My next guest on the podcast, we done a poll. He was the most requested person to have on. A serious operator. I done a little bit of training with him. Got a stress fracture from trying to hang around with him after 3 weeks. Got found out early. He's represented Ireland, won the Ireland Best in cross, track. Stuck a 2:12 marathon time on the board. This fella is the real deal. Hugh Armstrong, what's the gig?
What's the gig? That's all. Thank you.
Hugh, what happened in Dublin? I'm getting straight into it.
Yeah. Right.
Because I was there, right?
Yeah.
I was there for the moment of it.
Yeah, it was funny. A lot of people just seem to pop up at the moment of it. Yeah. So around 16 miles in, I stepped off. Like, I was last 2 or 3 weeks coming into it. Now I was not 100%. Like I had trained very well. Like had won Charleville the half done. Probably ticked all the boxes training, but just the last 2 or 3 weeks probably just pushed over that edge a little bit. I had a sore calf kind of last 2 or 3 weeks. I thought, like when it was first coming on me, I thought I had enough time that it'd be you're going to be tapering that last 2 weeks or so anyway. Like, so I was kind of saying to myself, maybe this is just no harm. It's going to make me take it easy for a bit. I'll rest up. It'll be all right for the day, but it just wasn't fully coming around. I knew going in, this isn't 100%.
Yeah.
But I thought it'd be all right. I thought I'd get away with it, and be able to run the race, and I would, if I was on for a good time, if I was in the mix at that stage, I would have kept going. I wasn't massively sore, but it was just, I wasn't running smooth on it, and I wasn't on for anyway a good time that it was going to be worth it to injure myself worse. So I got to 16 miles, and then Phelim was there. You were there, yeah. And
so when I seen it, you came around the bend of the KCR garage, and I was giving Ben the bottle.
Yeah.
So I was there, but then you were running, and then you were hesitating as you came around the bend. And Phelim was
Phelim ran up beside me, yeah.
And I was like, what's going on here for a minute? And then you just stopped, bounced the bottle off the floor, and I was like, no way, race is gone.
I had a bottle, yeah.
So prior to it, right, I seen you. Yeah, you were in some nick. From when I met you to the you were strong when I met you, but I had seen you come on through training.
Yeah.
You were flying. You were blitzing them threshold sessions in not even in carbons, running the pace for them. And I was like, he's in some nick at the moment. And then you were banging out the races. You were what? You done the 4 of them, did you?
Yeah.
What were they? You done
the 4 race series. This was 5 mile, 10k, 10 mile, half marathon.
And you wrapped them all.
Won them all. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you done what? You done another half marathon a week.
I did Charleville, which was the week before the Dublin race series one. Which Charleville was probably the more important one. That was the national half.
That was the national half. So you win that. And what did you do there? 64.
What did I do? 64.33.
Yeah.
Won it. And then Creechy was second.
And then you went into Dublin.
Yeah. Dublin half was the following week. Yeah.
So that's what, a month out from the marathon.
It was 5 weeks out at that stage. Yeah.
And then, so you came away from that, no issues whatsoever.
No, at that stage I was recovering nicely off all the training, and I was training hard. But sometimes I find the best sign that you're in good shape, for me anyway, is how well you recover after, how well you're feeling all right to train the next day or the next few days. But
what's mileage look like for you in them weeks?
I was probably I stacked up a good few weeks there together, probably 110 miles plus, and a good bit of quality within that. We were still hitting the 3 sessions a week, and we were doing a good long run of a Saturday, of 20 miles plus. I did a few with Wayne Waldron. He told me to mention him in the podcast there.
Wayne's a good operator.
He had a good run in Dublin too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're right. I had, so when you first started training was when I was coming up to the Hamburg in April this year, and I ran 2:13 at that, and I had came on nicely from that for Dublin. I was probably in a better form for Dublin than I was going into Hamburg. So that's why I thought I might have been in shape for getting close to my PB. We got a good day in Dublin, but I just pushed over the. Actually, I was talking.
It's a fine line.
Like I was saying to you just before we came on, I was talking to Paul.
Yeah.
Last week, I met him at the match, and he was saying, how are you doing? I was saying, I just over there. And Paul was saying, like, sometimes you just have to do that. Like, you have to push. Sometimes it works. You run a PB, you might win it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you bust yourself, you get injured, and and you end up disappointed. Yeah.
And I've seen it a few times this year with a few athletes. It's just a matter of you pushed about enough, and then something can spike. But like that, you're not mad injured.
Yeah. No, I was like.
It was a calf strain.
It was a calf. Like, it was just holding me back the bit that I was a few percentage off where I should have been or thought I should have been on
and
the
like
day.
You would have staunched it out. You would have finished it. If Phelan hadn't pulled you off, you would have sold it through that.
I probably would have, but it probably wouldn't have been
the
smart thing to do. Like, Yeah. So Phelan, like what happened then, Phelan came up beside me and he was saying, look, is it your calf that's bothering you? I was saying, and he was saying, just pack it in then,
It was a mad buzz for me, right? Because I'm rolling around I'm rolling around on the course that day with Phelan, who potentially has you.
Yeah, you're on the bike, yeah.
You're at the top, you're racing for either 4th, 2nd or 3rd the Irish title, let's say. And then I'm with Dermot. And Dermot
used to coach me as well.
And then Dermot's there. And I'm rolling around with these two coaches who have two people at the front of the race. It was a mad buzz.
He had Aoife in it, who finished second in the women. And was Tobin with you? Sean Tobin with you?
Tobin was with us, but he hadn't got a bike. So
right.
Him in the park. It was gas.
He had Willie, who...
And Willie done very well.
Very well, 2:14.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when I look at you, I'm like, right, Hugh Armstrong is a serious operator, right? I know you at times, we'll get into them. But... when you hear Willie's story, you're like, fuck me, hard work and dedication can get you very, very far.
Yeah, he's some man, Willie.
Some man.
Do you know he's out doing the 7 marathons in 7 continents now?
I've seen this. What is it?
So it's 7 marathons in 7 continents in 7 days.
7 days.
So they started in Antarctica.
Was that the picture I seen of him in Antarctica the other day?
Yeah, and he ran, that was an Antarctica, it was Sean Tobin's record, and he ran
2:40.
2:38. Tobin around 2:53, which was, and he ran 2:38, and then he went to South Africa the following day and ran 2:34. Australia 2:36 or something parts, and then they did Istanbul, Europe, and then Istanbul age. They ran one way and called it Europe, and the other way and called it, and he ran.
So hold on a minute, he's
two more 2:43s. Like, he's ran 5 now.
Is he done now?
That's fine. He's 2 more days. They're going to Colombia tomorrow and then Miami for the last day 7 then,
So he hasn't run anything over 2:40?
2:43 or so.
2:43.
So he's averaging around just under 2:40, Some going. 5 days,
Christ, that's some going.
He's on for the record, right? I think, Dermot, McDermott, he's involved in the organising of that. He's out there, he's over with them. And his friend David Kelly, I think, does work with it too. So
I didn't know that.
I saw him, because I was hanging out with Dermot just after the race in Dublin in the hotel there, and he saw Willie and he's saying, Joan, Willie might do that 7 marathons, and he says, I'll go over and ask him. He just went over and asked him there and then. And
no way. I hope this echoes a bit, because you don't hear things like that.
Be some trip, No,
but you know what I mean? Like nobody knows Willie's up to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And running is such a big thing now. I think the amount of running clubs, running groups, running's really mainstream now. And nobody knows he's up to that. I don't even know he's up to that. I mean, with all he is. That is mad. Yeah,
Tobin coached him, yeah. He's some crack, Willie, now as well.
No, I haven't met him, so it was gas. He was coming down Ball's Bridge, and I shouted at him, "Wow, Willie!" And he looked at me like, "Who's that man?" And then Dermot, he seen Dermot, then he got on the field and said, "Tell Lando," I said, "What's up?" Because he didn't know it was me. But it was gas. I was screaming at him. So here, right, what next for you?
Yeah, I'm just getting back now after Dublin. Like, I'm back jogging a fair bit, doing like 10, 12 milers now the last few days, but I didn't. The cross country was just yesterday. I was kind of half hoping I might make a comeback for that after not running the marathon, and I was nearly as much disappointed missing that as I was with the marathon, because if you had a good run at Dublin, I could take missing the cross, but it's disappointing to kind of miss both, because they're really my 2 best events. Really, is the marathon and the cross. Like, I was on the team for World Cross and Eurocross last year, or this year even, or World Cross this year. And then I saw Keelan won it, and usually a course that suit Keelan, it kind of suit me as well. We're both from the same Ballina Co.mayo, so where we both trained in the same course growing up and everything. So Now, fair play to Keane. I was delighted
He's a good operator.
from winning it. Like, yeah, but I'd like to have had a rattle at it, you know.
Of course.
Yeah, I've won him. I was third in the national cross last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'd be a race. It'd be nice to win as well. Like, you know.
So the cross is a mad buzz. I basically gave the cross a go
That's all that, yeah.
off listening to you talk about cross.
Yeah.
So like you were into the cross, and I seen like I watched you on the World Cross on
Yeah.
the laptop. Yeah. The day you were there.
Yeah, in
Some buzz to watch
Belgrade.
that.
Yeah,
Something else. Like I remember looking at it going, this looks.
And Keelan was in that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was 50th. He was 56th.
No way.
Yeah. So
But I remember looking at it, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give cross a go. Hugh says it's lethal. I'll have a go of it.
yeah.
And I enjoyed the first race. The first race was lethal.
Mm.
I got found out. Like I made a mistake. I went to the front. I shouldn't have been there. I should have stayed at the end. And then the second one, I go into the second one, right, and I'm like, I'm not gonna make a balls of this today. And then I round my ankle in the warm up.
Yeah.
I didn't even get to start. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it makes it very strong, the cross.
Yeah,
You know?
no, it does.
And it's a good way of kind of racing where time is a bit irrelevant, you know.
Yeah.
And it kind of
you either hang on or you don't.
and it can be a bit of a leveler for some, like, you know, that like you can beat fellas in cross that might have times ran much faster than you on the road,
Yeah.
you know, like
You've got a few scalps.
Yeah, you have a few good ones, yeah, in the cross, yeah, that you wouldn't beat them, you know.
Oh, I know. Right, so look, let's get into your running career from the start, yeah?
Yeah.
Because it's interesting. Like we all get into sport, like play football and things like that. We don't really get into running. When did you get into running?
Young enough, really, yeah. But like that now, I would have played a lot of sports.
You're big into sport. I
growing
always hear you
up.
talking about the hurling and the Ghana.
Yeah, I played Gaelic football for Knockmore, being my local club. I
Right.
played a bit of soccer, did boxing for a brief while, did different things. But I would have started running early enough. Like, you know, the community games and that when we were young would be kind of the first races I would have ran. And then when I joined the athletic club,
But how old are you here now? Like,
I'm talking a baby, like, you know, like
7?
yeah, I think I was about 7 when I joined the athletic club.
Right.
Under 10 anyway. Like there was a club there in Ballina, and I wouldn't be that'd be about a 15-minute drive from our house. My father just started bringing me and my brother in, kind of, you know, saying, oh, get you fit, like, you know, like, it was kind of getting fit for playing football and other things, really, like, at the start, like, but got into it then. Like, I wasn't a world beater or anything, like, I wasn't fast, or you wouldn't have picked me out growing up, we'll say, as a juvenile, like, it wasn't until maybe I was like 16 or 17 I started training a bit.
But like, even when you get into it at the
you know.
likes of, like, right, let's say you're 10 and you're fully in a running club there.
Yeah.
What's training look like for 10-year-olds in running? Like,
Yeah,
like what races are they targeting? Like, do you know what I
it's
mean?
just a bit of fun, like,
It's a bit of crack, and it's just like keep the kids busy.
yeah, we'd have the cross country, and there'd be like the team element of cross country, which is another good thing about it. Like, so we'd have like the Ballina team, and we'd often won like the Connacht Championship or that kind of thing. Like, you know, it'd be me and my brother and a few other lads, you know, and they'd count up the place and to score the team. Like, we just train twice a week, 2 maybe 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Down at the club, we do, you know, a few laps, a few intervals. Like, you know, I don't even really remember it. We just go down and run around, like, you know.
So then where does it start to change then? What age does it start to change for like kids who are runners, like where they start targeting like a distance of a race? Like what's the first distance you step into?
I was always probably better at the long distance stuff. Like, I could, you know, even from young now. Now, I would have tried out the sprint or even like long jump and all kinds of stuff, you know, when you're young down at the athletic club. But always the one, like, you know, in the cross country, obviously, it'd be just the one race, the long race. But then when you'd have the track, like, you try a number of different events. Like, but always, like, if there was one I'd win a medal at the Mayos or the Connachts or whatever, it'd be like whatever the longest event would be at the time. That might only be 800 for an under 10 or 1500 for a under 12 or 14.
I done a race from my school. The teacher called me one day and he was like, do you want to come up to Santry Stadium? And I went up. It was an 800, right? I'll never forget it. It was an 800. And I'd never done like a run at all. I only went to get out of school. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I went up and it was an 800 metre race and I went flat out from the gun, right? And was forced, like, all the way around.
Yeah.
And then body shut down, obviously. Now I know. Lactate overload.
Yeah.
Every single person passed me, right? And it was, the whole stadium was full to the brim, Morton Stadium.
Yeah.
Everybody was shouting at me on the way around. And I remember, like I didn't think I was going to make the finish line the second time around. Do you know what I mean?
What age are you here?
14.
Yeah. Was it like a school's race?
School thing.
Yeah.
Which is another thing. Remember when little Killian was up a little while ago and you were like, little Killian, the height of him. But remember you were like, he won the schools.
He won the Irish schools
So the
5K.
schools
Yeah.
is a big thing.
The Irish schools is a big event. Yeah.
And like, is that age brackets in that?
There is, yeah. So that's secondary school thing. So there'd be kind of like, let's see, can I remember? There was minor, was like your first years. Then there was junior, intermediate, senior.
And it's cross.
There's cross and there's track as well.
Right.
I remember, no, we'll say the senior boys cross.
Yeah.
When I was doing the leaving cert, Sean Tobin was first and I was second.
Yeah.
That was, we had a good race up in Belfast that day. And
Yeah.
then the track, then they'd have there's a 5K on the track. That's the one Killian won.
Right. He won the 5K on the track for the
schools, and he still has this year as well to come. And Jonas, I think, won that a year or two ago. And
the lads are serious.
They're good young lads, yeah.
Good young lads.
We need to build again. And
it's some buzz. Like I was only looking at Jonas there yesterday, and I was thinking, right, he's at the winning the under 20 cross there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, a couple of weeks ago, he dusted me. Not yet, like he dusted me going a pouch. You know what I mean? I was with him, and then I bottled it. And then I was like, I was freaked for a couple of weeks off. I was like, why didn't I just dig in, kill myself to stay with him? But it's like, you see the standard that he's at, and if you can just piggyback off the back of that in a couple of training sessions, there's massive gains to be made of just killing yourself to hang with them. And they're only 20.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I was very happy for Jonas yesterday now because he's kind of had a difficult enough year. Like, he was going very well in like January, February. Then he couldn't get 2 weeks consistent together then for most of the rest of the year. But he got a few months in and now. National title.
He's in good shape. So, right, you go on the scholarship programme, yeah?
Yes.
So how does that work?
So,
I know how it works, but like you go, what level are you at then that you're at a standard that schools will take you, or do you go over and start collaring schools yourself?
You probably depends on like if you're like top at like if say you're someone like Killian now or Jonas, you'd probably be getting offers.
Yeah.
Or schools. I probably wasn't at that high level where
you weren't at that level then.
Like I was like the thing about me was I hadn't really any super fast track times, which is what they often would be looking at. But my coach in the last 2 years I was in secondary school, I started working with Dermot, who we were talking about there from Sligo. And he got onto a few schools for me, including the one I went to Providence.
Where's that?
Providence, Rhode Island. It's up the road from Boston.
Right.
So, and their coach is Ray Tracy, so he's John Tracy's brother. He's Irish athlete back in the day. He's coached there for just going on 40 years.
He's the coach in that school?
He's the coach in Providence, yeah.
So you were how old here when you got?
I was 18. So this is when I'm being recruited. I'm 18 doing the leaving cert, we'd say.
Right.
And it was shortly after that Irish schools race I was talking about where Tobin won it and I was second. Because I think at the time Providence were talking to Sean Tobin, and but then Sean ended up committing to Mississippi.
Yeah.
So they had the scholar. So then they went probably down the list who was second in the race, you know. And then Dermot had been onto them, and they were saying, "Oh, should we give this Hugh Armstrong fella a shout?" And say, "Yeah." So I remember getting the call. That was the only offer I got now from America, because I hadn't broken 15 for 5K. I hadn't even broken 9 for 3K on the track. But I had
18
at this stage, yeah. But I had a few good cross country. Like I'd been second in that Irish schools. I was second in the clubs junior that year as well. So I had the few good cross country runs, which probably was what Ray was taking the gamble on, you know. But I was very lucky to get the full scholarship, given the level I was at. Like,
yeah, but look, you got it. So,
but yeah, I did.
So then you go
well enough for him.
And what's the system like over there? You're in school studying, and you're running.
So you're going
this NCAA thing.
NCAA. So you're in college, same as you're in college anyway. You're going to class, whatever. I studied maths, but you're like a semi-professional athlete.
Yeah.
There, because you go, everything is paid for. If you're on the full scholarship, you get your college fees paid. You get your like rent to stay. You're staying on campus paid. You get all your food paid.
Yeah.
Your books, school books you need in the college. Insurance, which is very expensive in America. You get all the health insurance or whatever else, and then like you get kind of like you're traveling around to races and that's all covered. Like, you know, you get all your gear. We had New Balance contracts. You get like new shoes every 4 weeks or whenever you need them. Like big drop of gear every year. Like, you know, you're kind of like the semi-professional. Like, you have your set time of day. We used to have training at 2:30 every day, and that was like you weren't allowed to have class at that time. Like, you'd pick your classes around that, and you just train hard, go to class, and then everything else was looked after for you. Like, you
So
know.
do you come into yourself then and start like, does the level go up there?
I think so. Yeah, like I developed on.
So you said there you didn't hit 3K for 9 minutes, then you didn't break 15 minutes. Do you go there and start coming on then?
Yeah, I did. Now, to be fair, like, see, the funny thing is, if for the junior athletes now, they race probably an awful lot more track races, and even like you'd see them going abroad racing, whereas we would never have, like, I wouldn't have really done that as a junior, and that's, I'm not talking as if I'm an old man here, you know, like, but this is like, you know, like, the only real opportunity we'd have for race would be like your Connacht's schools or Irish schools. Like, you know, I wasn't like I was going up and down the road every day trying to run 9 minutes for 3K and not being able. Like, it probably was there if I actually hopped in and ran one. Like, I had ran a very good 10K on the track that year because I went to the.
Which is what?
I ran 31:28, which was
18.
Good going at 18, and it was at the time was qualifying for the European Juniors. So I ran the European Juniors and finished 11th. So I had a few decent runs behind me, like, you know. But yeah, when I went over there, like, I ran big PPs every year, like
what, like.
So the second year I was out. So the first year, yeah, I'd ran 14:49, 8:27.
At what age?
This is
18, 19.
19. Second year I was there, ran 29:55 the second year.
29:55.
Yeah.
At 19.
19, yeah.
Wait, because did you
or
remember
20? I was 20 by then. Yeah.
in the park
Second
here
year.
a few weeks ago? I remember I had said to you, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna
Breaking 30, yeah.
I'm gonna start moving towards that. That's the next goal. Do you know what I mean? I'm not
the next,
in the
next series, yeah.
like, that's gonna be the next series.
Yeah.
It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy done.
Ah, yeah.
But
2 5Ks, yeah.
I remember saying to you, because I knew you had done it, and you were like, "Yeah, I done it at 20," and I
20,
was like,
yeah, yeah. That was over in
track?
Philadelphia, yeah, on the track, yeah. Now, this is all before the new shoes and everything as well, so, like, it's kind of funny because I've kind of lived through the two eras, like, you know, that time, like, you'd 29:55 would qualify you for an NCAA regional final, like, you know, whereas now you'd be going into a well low 29 to even get in, you know.
So so over there, right, you're doing the NCAA, it's what, 10K, 5K?
Yeah, so on the track, so you'd have cross country, everyone runs cross country over there.
Yeah.
And that's the whole autumn, we'll say, from when you get back in August up to November.
Yeah.
And those are 8Ks and 10Ks. At the end of the season, they're 10Ks. So you race heavy over there.
Yeah.
You race every 2 weeks. And, you know, probably because of that, you cannot train as consistent because you're always kind of like pulling back that little bit every 2 weeks for a race, like, you know.
Yeah.
But it's very good. Like, it makes you tough and brings you on, and you always have that another race coming up. You know, if you run one bad one, you want to put that right the next time, you know. And then you come into indoor track. Indoor track is very important over there because you actually couldn't run outside that time of year. Like, in the northeast, it'd be covered in snow and ice. Like, so you do that kind of like January, February, March. Then you're into outdoor track kind of April, May, June, and then you'll be home for the summer, like, or, you know.
And how long did you do in that system? You go at 18, you come home at what?
So you get 4 years.
4 years.
Now, you get 4 years, but then some people get on into a fifth year if they call it a red shirt. So if you missed one of your seasons throughout that 4 years, either with an injury or if the coach just decided to hold you out for a season, so you'd come back for the fifth year, you can get 5 years. There was people during the COVID years, it got a bit messed up as well, like, because there was seasons cancelled. Like, sure, the likes of Bracken and these fellas seem to have 6 or 7 years. I don't know how they were still going that. I got 4 years and that was it. Like, I just had 4 years in that system. But then I did a master's in that college.
Okay.
And stayed another 2 years, even though I didn't have any more eligibility.
Yeah.
But I stayed, like, because I was training very well with Ray Tracy, and we kind of still had, at the time, At the time, we actually had a very good group of post-collegiates. We had a team called Ocean State Athletic Club. Rhode Island is the Ocean State, and we had a group of 4 or 5 of us there. That we had Shane Quinn. He was one of the groomsmen at my wedding there. He was a Waterford man too. We had Jordan Mann, good steepler, and he had 26. Julian Oakley was another very good miler from New Zealand. He ran 3:55 and 7:44. Like, and these were in the old shoes. All these, and myself, like, we'd 4 or 5 of us there that were kind of training together and living together. But even though we were finished in college, but Ray was still training us, and we were working well together. So I'd recommend America massively. Like, it brings you on, like for 2 or 3 reasons. One reason that, like, the racing, you get into these high quality races and it's all paid for, and you're like traveling around with a team, like, and it's great, very enjoyable, like, and great.
I'm looking at Troy's having the time of his life.
Yeah, and then you have the training group.
Yeah,
you have a very good training group that's hard to get, like, people all at your level, like, coming in, like you get a group of first years that are all at pretty much the same standard as you, all coming in together. You're all trying to make, even I remember even going in the first 2 years being really hard to get a spot on the starting 7, like, they only could put 7 on the line, and we'll say the NCAA with Providence, we had a really strong team at the time, like, I didn't make their top 7 the first year,
Yeah. So that's one thing I see with the lads, right? You look at, like, Jonas and Gavin, the two of them they're evenly matched enough, Two of them about the same age.
Yeah.
But they won't give each other an inch in training.
Yeah,
right?
They Young lads are,
They're not having it, you know what I mean? And when I'm behind them, I'm like, I accept defeat too quick, right? I'm like, they're stronger than me, they're doing it longer than me, whereas them two get the most out of themselves because they have, the line is so close between the two of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I suppose probably maybe there's a bit of experience in that, knowing that you don't have to, like,
on my end,
smash yourself every day. Yeah, on your end.
But I leave the session going, I should have killed myself to stay.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'd probably be being cut from that a bit, especially as a younger lad. Well, of just, like,
you're known to go into the trenches,
hammer every day. Yeah. But I think Phelan's training does hold you a bit back from doing that, because we do the 3 sessions a week.
Yeah, I've learned that as well. True.
Whereas with my previous coach, with Ray, we wouldn't train as often. We'd 2 at the max, even sometimes. So every day you'd have such a gap between your sessions that each day you'd have a session you'd be going a proper hard effort every time, and then your runs in between would be at a fairly decent clip as well, just because sessions were a bit more spread out. So I had to adjust to that a bit with Phelan, like,
Yeah.
But I've been lucky now with the 3 coaches I've had, have all been very good, like, and I've probably been at them at the right time for my development, So
So where do you go? Where do you start going long then? Where do you start stepping away from the 10K?
When did I go up? Kind of after college I started.
And where is the 10K when you go 10 miles, half marathon? Like, where's that 10K time?
So I ran when I was in America. I ran 29:16 when I was 21. I ran that in California,
right?
Which was at the time was good going. Now it's probably not as impressive, like, with the new shoes and everything. But
see that French uncle the other day ran 27
something on the road. Yeah,
how old was he? 19.
Yeah. Is that all?
No, I don't know. He's young. Sorry, I don't know about 19. He's young, because I was on the phone to Daniel, and Daniel said, "Yeah, no, he is shit."
Yeah, I saw the time. I didn't realise he was a young lad.
He's not old, like, he's not old.
European record, wasn't it?
Yeah. So you're at, like, what, 29 low?
So yeah, I ran at 29 low and finished my college eligibility. So the first half marathon I ran was I was still living in America now. We'll call it the 5th year I was in America. Like,
right
after I'm finished, I'm not on the Providence college team anymore, but I'm running for the club team, Ocean State. And I ran 66:50 or something like that.
Yeah.
In Hartford, Connecticut. And it took me a while. I found the half marathon was an event I found a bit harder to nail for a good while.
Aerobic develop, like
I don't know.
The aerobic base wasn't big enough or something.
Maybe, like, I actually I nailed the marathon easier, I think, than the half. Like,
right.
I don't know. It's just it's a tough event because you're still going at a fairly decent pace.
Flipping,
Like, you know, it took me till. So that when would that have been? That would have been in the autumn of 2017 when I ran that first half marathon. But I ran. Probably 2 years later was when I ran the first one that I was fairly pleased with. It was Charleville again. I ran 64:29.
Right.
And that was coming up to Dublin in 2019, about 6 weeks before it. So maybe you're right, yeah, because I was into the marathon training at that stage. So maybe I needed a bit more of that, those longer runs and longer tempos.
Because I'm looking at it now, right? So I went in and done the lab with Joe last week.
I saw
right?
that, yeah.
And Joe gave me my profile, yeah. He was like, you have big aerobic.
Yeah.
Threshold is very slim. And my ability to hold high-end speed is very slim. And I have to work on that, right?
Okay.
So I was looking at you because, like, right, I'm looking at you as a runner then. And I'm like, right, you're not, you don't have mad high-end speed. Like, you're not, like, you don't have that mad high-end stuff. So you being able to hold 3 minute pace, like, I can't hold that for too long. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas you can actually hold that for, you're holding that for what?
Well, my half PB is around 3 minute pace.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, right, how do I adapt here? I have to do, right, Joe said, I'll go back and start doing this, and this, and get the body able to handle that high-end speed. And I'm like, right, when I go and box this off, am I going to be able to start looking at 3 minute pace for a half marathon? Now?
Yeah.
Now, I know I'm a long stretch away from that. The 10K.
10K first, yeah.
So I have going on now, I'm going to target this 3K on the 18th of December with the lads.
Oh, right, in the indoor arena, yeah.
That.
That'd be good, yeah, because it's fast track and everything.
Fast track,
yeah.
all the lads are doing it. And gonna have a go at, like, if I could do something like 8:30, right?
68, yeah.
Now this is just being plucked out, not that plucked out of the sky, but like this is like the lads are like, try and do that.
Yeah.
Do that, you're going all right. Do you know what I mean? So 250 pace a K for 3K. How intense is that going to be? What's your best for 3K?
809 from college, yeah.
Right. 809.
809, yeah.
Had you got more in you? Could you go quicker than that? Because like Jonas and all, like, they're clipping at what, 8 minutes?
Or around 804 or something like that. Yeah, like see, the thing with the 3, like, I didn't really target those shorter races ever. Like, you know, even when I was in college, I was probably, my main goal was like your 5 and 10K. Then after, I was doing the half and the marathon, like, you know. So maybe if I ran a 3K all out when I was at my best shape ever, I could have got closer to an 8 minutes, like, you know. But and then, you know, with the new spikes, maybe I could have a good, like, I ran a 5K PB this summer on the track and a 10K on the road. So
because I'm going back the way, like, I done the marathon, right?
Yeah.
And I done a decent time, but I don't want to go back to, like, I don't want to, like, train for another one and do, like, pull a minute out of it or 2 minutes out of it. I want to exert all this short stuff. So when I do go back, I'm probably looking at, like, right.
Well, to be honest, yeah, I do well to break 809 again at the moment, like, just because I've kind of moved away so much from that speedier stuff. But I probably could run around that.
No interest in jumping on that?
Maybe, I'll see, yeah.
They're all doing it.
Yeah, it might be no harm, actually, yeah.
The internationals are coming home.
Yeah, give myself...
There's loads in doing it. It's going to be some crack.
Yeah, I'd be probably back in decent shape by then too, yeah.
It's what, 4 weeks away?
Be a bit of crack, yeah. As long as I wouldn't hurt me. Sometimes when I run too fast, I hurt myself as well, like, you know.
I stepped onto the indoor last week with the lads.
Spikes and
everything,
we
done, no spikes, but we just done an 800.
No, in the race of it, yeah.
We done an 800 and it was like, what's 210s? I don't know what we're doing.
210 for 800?
210 for 800.
65s, like.
65s. Yeah. So we done that. And the first 3 were cruising.
Yeah.
Gavin and Juan were there and they were like, they know the game. So when they got to the last lap, they just lifted it a bit and I was out the back straight away. And I was trying to close and I was thinking, I couldn't do another 11.
Did you run 210, yeah?
I ran 210.
That's alright.
I was like, I couldn't do another 11 laps at this pace.
Yeah. Well, 210 is 65s, like, you're looking at 68s there.
68s is what I need to do.
So, you know, you'll be a good bit quicker at 65s is what, 807
and like, unless you're doing like track running, you don't, 3 seconds doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a fucking
per lap
breath of fresh air.
Is a lot. Per lap it's just that's 12 seconds per mile, you know. So
like, I always thought, like, I remember being like, right, what's the difference between 2 seconds and whatever, like, it doesn't make a difference, but when you want them seconds, like,
oh, you feel them, yeah.
Right, so you do the half marathon, right? Everybody knows you for the marathon.
So the first marathon I ran was 2019 Dublin. That was just so I came home from America in the summer of 2019.
Yeah.
That I had the 6 years done. I'd done the 4-year course. I'd done the 2-year masters. I opted not to bother trying to get any kind of work visa or anything in America. I said this was good time to come home. Like, I just wanted to, I always kind of wanted to come back home. Like, I enjoyed my time in America, but I always kind of said I'd come home eventually. So I got the job I'm in now. I started it actually so I came home. I just moved back to Mayo and trained there for the marathon. And I was looking for work, but I said I'd start the job after the marathon. So I was kind of training like a full-time athlete, living in my parents' house in Mayo for that race, So I ran 2:14:22. That was my debut in Dublin.
Debut.
2019, yeah.
That's some going.
And then
in Dublin.
And then came back in the February and ran 2:12:26. That was 2020. That was probably one of my best years.
In Seville.
Yeah.
You go from 2:14 in Dublin, and that happens in October. You go to February, and you go to Seville in February, and bang out 2:12.
Yeah, I was only 25 at the time. Yeah.
Jesus, that is some going.
But that's.
Because I remember, I hadn't a breeze who you were until Carty mentioned you, and I always say all the time, and I remember Carty was like, we'll try and do a few sessions with Hugh Armstrong, and I was like, who's he? And then I looked up debut marathon, and I was like, what the fuck, the standard here is off the chain. So you're 25 there, right? And you do Seville, and then what? You run into the injuries.
Yeah, I had kind of. Well, so that was February 2020, and then just after that, was when the world changed altogether with the pandemic.
Right.
Everything was locked down then by March, and it was kind of very suddenly,
Stay within your 2K.
So yeah, but
marathon train on that.
To be honest, 2020 was probably the best shape I was in. I ran my half marathon PB that year as well in October, which was the world 63:37. That was
that's still your best now.
Still my best. Yeah, that was at World Half. It was in Poland, and I think that was the only international competition that actually went ahead that year.
Right.
Was that World Half, and and I was looking. So at the time, the time was 2:11:30 was the Olympic time, and we had Stephen Scully and Paul Pollock, Kevin Seward all had the time, and then the Olympics was postponed the year till 2021, and I was like, lovely, now another chance at a crack at that.
Yeah.
2:11:30, and now I also know I had to if I still ran it, I'd still have to get picked. There'd still be a selection, there'd have been 4 of us in, and would have been. So I'm training really hard, obviously, like that kind of November, December 2020. And I went actually, me and a few of the lads that Rob Heffernan coaches went to Guadix in Spain, peak lockdown, kind of November, December 2020. And I just worked remotely out there, trained hard. It's about 1,000 meters of altitude, and came back and I was in great shape. Ray Tracy was still my coach at the time. I was probably in the best shape I was ever in, but there's no race to run
Yeah.
And probably just overextending the training blocks, no race to come. And then January 2020, I actually went with Phelan's lads, the Dublin Track Club, before I'd actually joined training with them, but I went to them. They were in Portugal.
Yeah.
And out in Portugal, I badly busted the injury. You had the sacrum stress.
No way. That happens there.
Yeah, I was in Portugal on a camp out. We were meant to be there for 3 weeks. It was about 2 weeks into the camp.
track walk?
Maybe. We had done a hard track session, must have been the Tuesday. This came on me. Maybe the Thursday I was out for a run. I don't know what I was running, like a 14-mile run or something. Came on just over the course of one run. Suddenly I was like, geez, that's fairly sore now. Then I finished the run and I was like, geez, I can hardly walk now, and I knew straight away this is fairly bad here,
Yeah.
And
MRI straight away?
Well, not really. I kind of hemmed and hawed. I was still in Portugal. Wasn't sure for a while. Was kind of testing it out, seeing if I could.
I made this mistake. I was 3 weeks before.
Could I walk on it? Could I? Then, it's still, you kind of forget how it was at the time. You came back from Portugal, 5 days isolation after I came back. Remember, you couldn't go straight out into a doctor. trying to get an appointment for a doctor to refer me to an MRI. Like took
Yeah.
a good. Meanwhile, me kind of trying to do bits of jogging and seeing was it okay, but it wasn't. Like I knew it was like very high level of pain. Like then I got the MRI. It was a big stress fracture. Yeah, it was like any doctor I showed it to, they'd be like, oof, they was saying, like, we might have to put a screw in that. Like, there was like, it was like a proper, like, impact fracture nearly, So that kind of forced me out for a while. And I didn't really, because this was the first major injury I really had. Like, I didn't really give it the respect I should have for how bad it was.
Yeah.
Because I ended up getting a second one as I was coming back on the opposite side, like that was on the right, and I got a second one on the left.
That's a mad one.
And I was a bit like, I didn't realise the length. Like I was like, oh, sure, maybe I'll be back in 6 weeks, and I'll just cross train really hard, and I'll have another go at them. I wasn't really giving up on that.
Yeah.
Oh, I might get to the Olympic. I wasn't like.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying to myself, oh, this is gone now. Let's just recover. Like I was kind of a bit like, I was still going out mad on the bike and going swimming, like even though there wasn't much open in the way of like gyms or pools or anything that but that had me out for nearly a year old between the two stress fractures.
Like it's amazing.
It was a good year. Like
it's amazing the standard you got yourself back to after them injuries. Like you did get right back to where
you
ran 2:13 there in Hamburg.
Yeah, that was the best one I had since. Like, but we'll say, like I'm 30 now. Like, say if I had pushed on at that stage when I was 25 from the 2:12 and went on, like it might have been a different story. Like I'm getting back to close to where I was.
Yeah.
Then, but but I suppose you kind of learn from them things as well. Like
Of course.
Yeah.
So, cross training. Yeah, like how
I did plenty of that.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You were telling me to do it. You were like, you're on the cross trainer and just do this. Now I didn't get into it. I got on the bike and I did a little bit of that.
It's kind of just do whatever you prefer. Like I've tried several different ones. Like
Yeah.
Depends on the nature of the injury as well. Like the difficult thing about the sacrum is it's awful hard to rest it because nearly even the bike, you're moving your hips, cross and you're moving your hips, aqua jogging. Like I remember being more careful on the second one and just saying, oh, I'm just going to swim with a float between my legs, like,
do you know what? It actually gave me a great perspective on injuries now. Like even when I rolled that ankle last week, I was like, you know what? It's rolled. Sitting here worrying about it is not going to do it.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to just rest it as well.
You just get to like if I get now it's a niggle, it's not that bad, but I did get to just switch off. I got 3 days rest there. Like I got what happened on the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, done nothing. Saw a deck on Thursday. Saw a deck on Wednesday, done 20 minutes on the Thursday, and then I was back to run straight away. And it was like, do you know what? Like the old me would have been pulling me hair out, thinking I'm losing fitness, all this carry on. Like it's not like them little type of niggles.
Sometimes 2 or 3 days is no harm. Yeah,
the world of good it does you.
The
proper done me the world of good. I got to relax, go to sauna and switch off.
Yeah.
But now like that, it's still a little bit. I wouldn't be doing a cross race.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing a cross race in it, but the track is all right.
You'll be alright on a smooth surface. Yeah.
I can handle threshold and I can handle efforts. So what else, right? What else do you want to do in the sport?
Oh.
Because this is the other thing. See, Gary O'Hanlon, right?
Yeah.
I remember when Gary asked me to go to Seville. Was it Seville? Yeah, no, Seville. It wasn't Hamburg, but it was Seville. And I was like, am I going to be chasing times forever? Do you know what I mean? Because Gary's just like, I'll do, like, Gary's still looking to improve the time,
Yeah.
And, like, it's in you. Like, it's like, like, where do you, like what times excite you?
Yeah, it's hard to know. Like, I'd like to think still have a good few years left, especially in the marathon.
You do, definitely. Once the body holds up.
Yeah, once the body holds up, yeah. And now, like, I have, you learn a bit from like, I've gotten a good bit stronger, like, I've gotten more clever with the gym and nutrition and all them sort of things that I probably wasn't doing enough of when I first was getting the injuries,
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I have loads of things I'd love to do. Like, I'd love to qualify for a good global champ. Like I ran a Europeans in the marathon 2022 in Munich. I'd love to qualify one of the global ones, like a Worlds or Olympics.
Yeah. Where's the Worlds this year?
Tokyo.
When is that?
Assume it's August or so.
Next
but
year? So
Yeah.
that's what it is, it's next year.
Next year, yeah. But
Yeah.
like, unfortunately, no, the pulling out of Dublin won't have helped my chances of getting there now, because that would have been good for points. So, but I'd love to just get back running PBs, like, and then even domestic, like that. The Charleville half, that was my first national title senior. So I'd like to win a few more of those before I pack it in, the two big ones I think that I think are probably the most prestigious, probably the marathon national title, because it's the Dublin Marathon, and then the National Cross that was on yesterday. That's a big one, because I think with the National Cross, you've kind of on the track, you've a few lads doing the 5k, a few doing the 1500, a few not running it at all. Like, you kind of have a bit of a mixed match of different. But on the cross, you have everything from your 800 up to the marathon all in one.
No, the cross is serious.
And if you beat them all, you beat. You're kind of the.
Deck has a picture in his.
Liam Brady, is it, winning
Is
it?
it Liam?
Yeah.
And he's
winning the title.
And that's some snap. And I remember when I saw that, I was like, the cross is lethal.
Yeah, sure. We love the cross, down in Mayo and the West as well, like,
No, the cross is serious, and the World Cross. When I seen that was lethal. When you see that in action, you see the names that were in that.
Yeah,
Kiplimo when I was in the same race as
Kiplimo, I remember they were in the same call room as with Uganda and Ireland were in the same one. I remember, like,
so that's the buzz, right? That excites me. Like when you
Kiplimo
go to these
and
marathons,
the guy in that, yeah.
Like, I remember, so Adam got the media vest in Hamburg, right?
Yeah.
And you were upstairs in the meeting with all the pros,
and
I bounced up pretending I was Adam to get the the vest.
Oh yeah, I saw you with that joke.
But when I bounced up, all the proper operators were there, like all of these like Africans and serious runners are there, and you were up there. And I remember
and Gary,
being like,
and Phelan,
Gary and the lads, right? And I remember being like, I'd love to be sitting amongst these, even though that the lads are like even you said before we even went live here, there's levels above you as well.
Oh yeah,
even to be just knocking about with them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They were up there playing foosball, having a bit of crack.
Oh yeah. Sure, they're all
like,
2 arms and 2 legs, like,
And I was like, so buzzed to be up here mixing with these lads.
Yeah.
So like, I'm looking at like you see what like Willie pulled off. I'm like, right, I need to go and I need to pull a bit of speed on myself here before I go back to this marathon.
Yeah. No, I think that definitely helps, like, because probably when you're ready to run a good 5k or 10k is probably when you're going to run a good half marathon, and then obviously for a marathon it requires that bit more getting the long runs in and long tempos and that, and long reps at marathon pace, like. But I think definitely it helps once you have the speed at the shorter stuff to translate it up.
It's the rawness of that speed. I was talking to Ben the other day, and Ben was saying, I was talking
Ben Brunton,
I was talking to him about this 3k, and I was like,
so you run on as well, is he?
Yeah, he's doing it.
Sure, I'll have to run this.
Do of course, be loads, be some buzz.
Adam will run it as well.
And he'd be there. Yeah. And he was like, you don't, like, I am fearful of this 3k.
Yeah.
You're
Ben
not
is
really fearful in marathon training.
Yeah, well, that's one thing I find anyway. The starting line in a track race is almost a bit more scary, because you need to get out,
of course,
almost to a full blast at the start. It's going to hurt from early, like.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, with the marathon, I find you're nearly not as nervous on the starting line of a marathon, because probably the pace is going to be reasonably comfortable for the first while anyway. Now I know me and you probably are more at home in the marathon than we are at the speedier stuff, and probably if you ask someone else the same question, they'd be more nervous going into a marathon, but and I think that was a bit of my attitude like that was a bit wrong in Dublin. Like, I didn't like get out properly with the leaders,
Yeah.
I was a bit too like, because I was still looking to run 5 to 5:05s, like,
Yeah.
Which
was
is
that
still
in the back of your head though?
Still quickie. Probably a bit, like, I was kind of like, I wasn't thinking about it too much.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like a bit like trying to relax myself and be a bit like, stay calm here, for the first while. But then as Creechy was getting away from me, I was looking up and saying, right, I need to pull him back in here,
Yeah.
And I was kind of like trying to make move up through the park to get back onto, but he was getting away, like, and I wasn't turning over as well as I thought I should have been, like, and then more people started catching up to me, like.
Yeah.
you know, Willie and Ryan Forsyth and a few. And next thing I was only hanging on to them, and next thing I was falling off them. And
No, it wasn't a day.
yeah.
So here's one for you.
Yeah.
What, you know, really everybody has like, right, when they're going into the trenches and they need to go into the locker to get themselves through something. What's going on when you're running the paces you're running? Like what you thinking in the head? Like, where does it start to hurt for you? Like for me, I needed to make the move from probably. It was a bit of a blow for me at the end of that marathon. I remember making a move at 10k. It wasn't. Like it was
10k in or 10k to go?
10k
10k in.
It was a cruise, do you know what I mean? It was grand. And then 10k out, I remember seeing a fella that was in like, in my head I said he's Swiss because he had like a Swiss singlet on. It was like a Switzerland top on or something. So in my mind I just went, right, I'm going for him. He pulled away from me at the start and then I remember being like, right, I'm going for him. So I made me move. But then like 3k out was a blur. It was just like the pacer and the African board came past me and I was like, right, go here. And it was to run through the season Seville. It was like, I don't really remember much of the end of it. Do you know what I mean? I remember it being intense. But like, what's it like? It's the same, isn't it? Like you've trained for 212 times. So it's the same thing. It gets heavy what?
Yeah, like...
Where does it get heavy for you?
It's a good question. Yeah, it can depend on the day as well. Like, you know, if it's a day you're feeling really good and on it, sometimes you can be feeling reasonably comfortable to like 30k or 18 miles or so, you know. But some days now you might need to kind of, and I think in the marathon sometimes you kind of need to wake yourself up at times, like, you know, like, come on, we're falling off the pace here, wake, you know. You might need to do that even at 10k, 15k, 20k, you know, in some races, like, you know. And in the marathon too, like, you can kind of, it's different to most other events in that you can kind of drift off the back of a group and get back on, like, you know, or you can kind of let people go and still catch them, but you need to be very focused in order to do that you're not going to let yourself drift too much, like, because like 2 seconds a mile in a marathon, that's a minute.
Yeah.
You know, on your predicted time, like, you know. So when I felt that, right, you've done a few of them, yeah?
Yeah. So you only have a group to work with. It's massive. It's mental.
Massively different. Yeah. I've had ones where I've kind of been on my own for a lot too, and it's tough.
It was mad for me. I literally remember when I was at the front of that group, I could feel the intensity. When they were in front of me, it was just like the heart rate drops, the breathing
try and
drops.
sit down. Yeah. In Seville now, the time I ran my PP in Seville, I was just hanging on the back of it, and a lovely group for most of it. Now it kind of broke up a bit like that, maybe the last 10 or 12k or so, and that was when it was really hurting, like, and then it depends on your fueling and all that, you know. All these things can make a difference in a marathon, like, you know. But I was really, by the end of that race, I remember, and I never had it in a race, but I was kind of almost seeing stars, like, you know.
Exactly, that's
like,
what I'm on about.
Yeah, like as if you're about to be knocked out, like, you know.
No, that's it. It was a bit blurry for me at the end.
Yeah, and I was just drifting. I kind of probably lost a minute or so on the last 2k that you know, just from
the marathon
dying,
like, like, it'd be finding it hard to get. Like, I was with Juan the other day and I was like, Juan, when are you going to do a half marathon? And he's like, I don't even know. And I'm like, what? He's like, I might do a 10 miler. Like, the marathon it is some buzz.
He doesn't have the interest in it.
Like, you don't, it's a mad, it's the length of it. You do experience something obviously that you don't experience in these short, intense races.
Yeah. You get into a bit more of a flow state, I think, you know, like if you're going well in a marathon, like, you know.
Yeah, no, they are.
And then I think the thing about the marathon too, like, you know, there's such a, you know, you're only going to do maybe 1 or 2 a year at the most, like, so you have such a build up to the event, like, and you trained for so long that when you get it right and you nail it, it's like the best thing ever. But, you know, when it doesn't go well, it's difficult because, like, you know, say you don't run well in a 5k, so you can come back run another one next week, like, you know, or 2 weeks and try and get your time better, like, you know. But marathon, obviously, you cannot do that, you know. You need to really build your whole year around it, like, you know.
So this 3k, you gonna jump on it?
Sure, I'll have to know, yeah.
You should.
Know that it's
buzz. The more of the lads that are there, I feel a lot more of a buzz towards them. Like, right, lovely, it's going to be something.
Who else on it? Gavin,
Jonas.
Oh, Jonas.
Juan, me, Ben, you, Sean Tobin.
Oh, Tobin.
Ishti's meant to be coming.
Oh, right.
Romas is coming. the internationals are coming over
Oh,
for it
Christ,
here, so
yeah,
it's going to be
yeah,
a proper. Now, I think there might be an A and a B, so I won't be in the A. But I'm still looking forward to feeling that indoor intensity.
Yeah, I said, where's the 18th of December? Yeah,
I think so.
that might be a good one for me to come back on now. Yeah,
Yeah.
I should have enough time to get back in shape for that. Yeah.
When will I see you? Thursday?
Yeah,
See you at
I'll be
at Threshold on Thursday?
Yeah.
Right, no bother. Nice one for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.